raised, amongst many other things, and what a prolonged strike of such a nature potentially could have meant was that it was going to affect a cross-section of regions and potential fuel shortage was coming. But
I have the one on the Kumasi.
You have the update on the situation.
So it says that they agreed, Boss Energies Limited and the tanker drivers agreed amicably to cut out the strike. Now, the agreement was reached during an engagement between Boss Energies and the national executives of the GNPTDU. So that was yesterday. Now, the drivers had protested the deteriorating condition of the yard where they park their trucks, particularly poor state of the facility during periods of rainfall. Now, they also accused Boss of failing to rehabilitate the yard near the Kumasi depot and raised concerns about their safety while operating at the facility. So under the agreement, one, the union's executives in Kumasi will immediately coordinate and undertake the resurfacing of the AG car park in Kumasi. Now, Boss has also dispatched a contractor to Kumasi to address a hanging loading arm at the depot, with work expected to begin immediately. Now, the parties further agreed to engage the National Petroleum Authority in September, that is next month, over concerns about the meter-to-meter error margin and report on the outcome of the engagement. They attributed the shortages to faults in machinery and equipment used to offload petroleum products from their tankers. So this has to do with the maintenance culture and creating what we so speak as the enabling environment for them to operate. So what people say, this is a no-brainer, because without the services of these people, it will be difficult for us to get fuel sent from here all the way up north. So what is wrong with putting asphalt at where these tankers park? There was one at Bumbaria. A similar thing used to happen. So according to them, the tankers didn't have a place to park, so they would go across a certain spot, then need I say decant or take off some of the fuel. So they had to block the road and open it up for everybody to see the quantum that was put in the tankers. So for me, it begs the question of, as we say, leadership. What concerns, how much money, how much revenue are we making from cutting oil from one point in Ghana to the other, such that we cannot take some of the profits to create that enabling environment, to asphalt the road? Because for you to even get a good, gauge, the automobile or that tanker needs to be on a level park. So now, how do you know if it is undulating? If the road is undulating, how would you be able to ascertain that? So these are no-brainers. Should they have gone on strike before we decide to come out with the panacea to the matter? No. No. So the KPIs that we give to all these people, how do we measure them? How do we measure them? It's funny.
You see?
It's funny. They are rendering services and they are paying taxes and levies. So what do you use those taxes and levies for? Or what do you use them on? Is it not to make the business between the two of you comfortable? Why? What is wrong with us?
I can't help but agree with the points that you make this morning. And I mean, listening to you speak, the question I am asking myself, right, is, so 10 years ago,
yes,
when the operations obviously has been in the same manner in which it has been, for 10 years in terms of leadership in how fuel is transported, has there not been anybody who's thought of an innovative way to improve upon that which already exists? Because I can bet that if we are to speak to the drivers this morning and ask what the business was like 10 years ago, this concern of And for me, yes, the gauging and the marking system, you can leave it to argument as to, okay, maybe the machine may have developed some fault or something may have not worked in the last 5 years. But in terms of where they park, these are trucks with fuel in them. For 10 years running, is it the case that nobody has sat down and said that, okay, let's improve how this is done for the northern belt, outside of all of the taxes, levies, and all of that that's been collected? Because for every fuel liter that you buy, there's a bus margin. For every liter so if you buy 500 cedis, you can work the math as to how many liters that makes. There is a margin that goes to bust from that fuel that you buy, right? So I asked myself 10 years ago, and these are some of the things which I think about whenever we're having conversations as to, okay, when there's a problem here, there's a problem there. I ask myself, so 10 years in the running, right? If I go back 10 years as to this problem which is being spoken about, will it be the same as it was 10 years ago? If it is, then I ask myself, 10 years ago and 10 years running, nobody has sat down and asked a question, or it hasn't pricked anybody's mind that having fuel tankers parked by the side of the road consistently, it's not a problem. It hasn't pricked anybody's mind to try and have that addressed.
Until an explosion happens.
It's a curious...
Yes.
It's something that I think about, and I ask myself, why? Why is it the case that we have institutions? Let's forget about who the figurehead is for a moment. And the figurehead is important, but I just want to... Does the entity which runs, does it not have systems and persons in place who are charged with looking at these things and say, okay, we've operated in this manner, I think we need to improve on this. We need such that it is an operational blueprint which is being run every now and then, and like a machine which is being
have an operations department,
which is being identified, and then parts of it are identified, and they say that, okay, this part needs to change, or something in relation to the operation needs to change, or it's a case that, once it is going, it is coming, it's fine, and that's where it ends. I'm genuinely asking myself a question in that regard as to
there's no operations department.
Change,
there's
right?
no operations department because this one falls directly under.
We can't say that authoritatively that there's no operations department.
But if
unless you are seeking to suggest that if there were an operations department, that you're seeking to but
yes.
The point I'm making is we can't say there's no operations department. But I'm just thinking, and I'm just asking myself some of these questions as to why because parking by the roadside with fuel in it and all of that.
We're just waiting to wake up to hear Sprinter bus runs into a parked fuel tanker on the Accra-Kumasi Road, explodes and kills 100 people and injures others. Properties destroyed, runs into millions of cedis. Speaking at a gathering, the chief director of the DCC said that people, that is all what we wait for every day. So we are knee-jerkers. We wait for the thing to happen before we are like, so now this is it. No. BOST is a state institution, right?
Yes,
it's a state institution. And look, every land that you want to place your hands on, you can. The state can place it and say, we want this area for A, B, C, D, and E, and then you go through the process and you would acquire it.
Right.
Why can't we do so?
Let me get onto the phone lines. Ibrahim Abubakar reported on this situation. They mentioned that they've suspended the strike. Let's get an update in relation to that, if indeed they've resumed operations, because the potential could mean that there could have been fuel shortages in some part of the country if the strike had persisted. Ibrahim, good morning to you. I appreciate you joining us on the phone lines, and I trust that all is well.
Well, man, I'm doing great.
Fantastic. The tanker drivers yesterday said they were laying down their tools. It didn't last because there was some intervention that came forth from BOST. What is the situation with them this morning? Have they resumed operations, and the fear of a potential shortage if this persisted, has it been averted completely now?
Well, Mauna, I can tell you that they've resumed operation this morning. And yesterday, shortly after their announcement to begin the 3-day sit-down strike, like you rightly mentioned, Bost management engaged the union leadership, and that resulted in a number of commitments aimed at resolving their concerns. In fact, if you look at Bost statement, it's indicated that it is aware of those concerns and already it is taking concrete steps to address them. But these concerns have been there for a number of months, and they have complained over and over again without seeing any positive outcome out of it. But yesterday, after that, Post has informed them that within weeks they will ensure that they will fix a hanging loading arm, which is at the Kumasi depot, and also it has already awarded a contractor to work on their parking space. Mind you, Bost already has a vast of land that they needed to develop to serve as a parking space for these tanker drivers anytime they move from Tema to Kumasi to either discharge or even load fuel to other stations. But it's been there for a number of years, and they were still using a rented premise, which was taking only 80 of these trucks, and you find hundreds or tens of the trucks parked along the shoulders of the road. But we are told that Bost has given it to contractor to work on it. And also on the issue of the meter reading error, they say they are in talks with NPA to make sure they have addressed those concerns. So yes, the drivers have been given that assurance, and they have resumed operations this morning. For most of these tanker drivers, however, the key issue now is how quickly these commitments will be implemented. So they say they've given Bost at least a month to see that all these implementation have, or all these commitments are being implemented. Other than that, they will have to reactivate the strike, because for them, these strikes are not in their personal interest alone, because fine, one, they are losing money because of the meter reading error. But then on the issue of the parking too, they are looking at the general safety of road users and even people who are living around the Kasi enclave, that in an event there is an accident. They said just 2 weeks ago there was this timber car that crashed into one of the tanker trucks because it has parked along the shoulders of the road. But for the swift intervention of the fire service, we would have been talking about something different, explosion. And they are also looking at the safety aspect of those things. So that's why they are pushing that the authorities do the needful. But yes, so that has brought a sigh of relief for us consumers of these petroleum products, because this morning even I also attempted to buy fuel in one of the fuel stations. That was early in the morning, and they were telling me they do not have stock. They are waiting for the drivers to bring the fuel to them. So imagine it had extended beyond the 3 days. That would have been a major blow for all of us, because whether you drive or not, you still have to board a vehicle to your various workplaces or other places that you need to work.
So already it does suggest that the potential of fuel shortage, even if you entered into today, could have been dangerous for persons living in and around Kumasi, the Bono region, and the likes.
Exactly. We would have begun also feeling the effect of the strike, I'm sure, from today, because like I said in the morning, there were some fuel stations that were saying they do not have stock, but I'm sure by now they've been saved, because in the morning I spoke to their leadership. I also went there and I realized the vehicles are moving, some are discharging and the likes.
Right, Ibrahim, thank you very much. Thankfully as well, we have the leadership of the tanker unions as well. Inu Sabawa is joining us on the phone. So Ibrahim, as always, I appreciate you and the great work that you do for us. That's my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar in the Ashanti region. Inu Sabawa is part of the leadership of the tanker drivers. Okay, it does suggest we may have made a mistake in relation to mistakenly dropping Mr. Bauer. He's a general secretary of the Kumasi branch of the Tanker Drivers Union, but that's Ibrahim who shares that already they had begun to feel the bite of potential fuel shortage. But that's the statement from Bost as well in relation to what the situation was yesterday, which resulted in some immediate interventions. Says the statement reads that Bost Energies, in fact, we were billed to engage them this morning, but they say that on the back of this statement, they will no longer want to speak on the subject matter, and so they expect that the statement will do justice to all of the pending matters. Here's what the statement does say, though, that Bost Energies has taken note of concerns raised by fuel tanker drivers regarding operations at the company's Kumasi depot and wish to assure the public, the tanker drivers and stakeholders and other stakeholders that the concerns are being addressed. The concerns which led to the intention by some tanker drivers to embark on a 3-day strike were already known to management and were actively being addressed prior to the intended strike. They relate primarily to the condition of a loading arm and inadequate parking capacity at the Kumasi Bulk Road Vehicle Park, that's a BRV park. The company had already engaged a contractor to undertake the necessary works for the replacement of the damaged loading arm. The intervention is intended to restore the loading infrastructure to the required operation reliability and safety standards. And they proceed to also say that the company wishes to assure stakeholders that the Kumasi depot continues to meet the market demand using the existing loading arms. Also, Bost Energies acknowledges concerns regarding inadequate parking space for bulk road vehicles at the Kumasi BRV Park, and had previously acquired a parcel of land to be developed as a 200 truck capacity facility. Presently, Bost Energies has awarded a contract for the construction of a new BRV parking facility. The planned expansion is expected to significantly improve parking capacity and ease congestion associated with tanker operations at the Kumasi depot. As an interim measure, Bost Energies continues to lease a third-party facility for the parking of the BRVs pending completion of the new 200 truck capacity facility. Continued engagement, they say, and they say that they've have engaged representatives of the Tanker Drivers Union and provided assurances regarding the measures being undertaken to address the concerns raised. Following the engagement, the tanker drivers have agreed to suspend their intention to embark on the proposed 3-day strike and continue dialogue with Bost Energies. And so that's pretty much the statement from them.
Yeah.
In relation to this. Okay, I'll come to you on this before I go to Helen and then Patrice as well, because I've heard Patrice on this subject matter already. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. In fact, reading the statement, I don't appreciate why they were not able to speak to us. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
I mean, we're built to actually speak to them.
It's always important.
But this morning, what the producer tells me is that based on this statement, they say that all other comments.
Yeah, so come and speak to the statement. It's as simple as that. The state institution shouldn't be behaving like this. I mean. You need to speak to no, when you release a statement and you are billed to speak on an issue, it would only be proper that you come and speak to it, because when you do, it allows people to get a broader understanding of the matter. Not everybody can read and write.
We'll get to the place of a statement.
And these drivers have families who are also concerned, and they are raising legitimate concerns.
Yeah, but sometimes in the practice, in the corporate practice, there are times that you release a press statement and then you just release it.
Because public relations.
Yes, they have engaged the drivers.
Crisis management.
They have engaged the drivers. So everything has
come
been
and tell us that you've engaged the drivers.
So no more strike. We are no longer on strike. So it's fine. So
I'm even surprised Mr. Bauer has refused to pick our calls again. Inusa Bauer as the General Secretary. Because of the many things I'd wanted to find out for how long this has persisted, right?
Oh, it's been ongoing because
this challenge of
which one is it? The parking by the roadside or everything in general?
Everything in general, but parking by the road in particular, because Ibrahim tells us that a timber truck ran into one of their tankers.
It is pretty obvious.
Somewhere.
It is pretty obvious from the screens that is what
this year.
Yeah. So like I said, I am happy they have resolved this amicably. We are looking at the development of the 200 the tanker facility that they're going to put up. And you see, I
they
like
don't
it
give us any data. But they don't give us any data, Patrice.
I like it when these companies are forward-looking. For me, if an issue comes up and you put your best foot forward, make sure you run that same race. Because we have our eyes on them and we have our ears on the ground to ensure that this thing is resolved. But my point is that what other institutions suffer similar situations? So must there always be an arising before these things are calmed down by...
Has the problem been resolved?
This problem...
Has it been resolved?
They have promised to resolve it.
Promises?
Yes, they have promised to resolve it.
Are you not the same person who usually sits here having problems with the promises politicians make?
Oh, this is not a politician making a promise. It's the institution that is making the promise.
No, I suspect you, Patrice.
If I was going to ask the same question about reactivity, we are just very reactive. Why are we so reactive and not proactive?
That is the thing.
I mean...
The problem has not been resolved.
That is the thing. No, the fact that the tanker drivers have accepted...
Strike suspended, problem unresolved.
So the point is, up to a certain period of time. So one of the key things they talked about has got to do with the faulty meter. Metering is one of the key things that affects the person who is cutting the fuel from one point to the other, to the station that is going to be discharged at. And
Patrice, maybe you may have forgotten so soon. The MPA boss was here.
Yeah.
Recently, I don't know if you were in studio.
Yeah, I was in studio. I was right here. Yeah, I was right here.
Eduji Tamaklo.
Yes, I was right in the studio.
And he shared some insights.
Right.
And you know, these drivers screaming themselves, they are also not.
Of course. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact.
We know the issues.
At the Bombaria, I know that for a fact.
We know the issues that go on there. And that's why, you know, I'm still concerned about a statement that the OSP released on bulk oil, the depots, and some corruption that had taken place. And before I could go back to check, the statement had been removed. And I was
from the OSP portal?
Yes, from the OSP page. I was wondering why it was removed at the time. And you know, we've still not had answers, but it's left a lot of speculations. And so, I mean, in a nutshell, I think the problem has still not been resolved.
Yes, all these leakages and shortages.
We don't have to wait for people to go on strike. It's like the day matrons who go on strike in our public institutions. Then we'll come and sit here and talk
again. It's the same thing.
But their working condition is no better. See? And because they are not going on strike, because they are not taking action, they are not acting, you know, because they are too empathetic, you know, they are usually taken for granted. So when they go on strike that day, then we start to celebrate them, appreciate them. So, I mean, it's the best thing that civil disobedience is the best thing that happened to...
But it shouldn't be so all the time. Like I said,
democracy.
You don't have a plan. If you don't have a plan, there is nothing to question anybody about.
But the long arm issue is a safety issue that needs immediate intervention, and it shouldn't be. They shouldn't try and manage the issue.
Yeah,
you know, there is not an issue to manage. Patrice, imagine if you own a house off the highway and then these trucks or these tankers park in front of your house. It would be difficult
for you to get them.
I grew up in Takrade on the Ahanta Road, and would wake up in the morning, and you know, all these long vehicles that are heading to the harbor would be parked on the street parking, you know, and there was nowhere for us to play. Until one day, one of them actually crashed a case 3 football. and did not give a damn. And I mean, but just to say that these things have existed for a long time, we never create enough room to solve our problems. So 69 years down the line, is it us or is them?
We're still sleeping.
And I'm talking about 69. So
we're still sleeping. We're still
Ghana
sleeping.
69.
Yes, and we're still sleeping.
Oh, in fact, next year we're 70.
Yeah, we're 70 next year.
We should be going on retirement. Hello.
Oh, but you see,
we retired.
Look, it's
9 years
painful.
ago.
It's really painful.
9
it's really
years
painful.
ago.
Anyway.
It's really painful for these things to be happening. So
Mahama one retired as.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would suffer the consequences. I would. Mawina would. Everybody else would, because when the metering machine is not working appropriately, you can't account for the fuel that is going out and that is left in there. So somebody is profiting from that metering system that is not working efficiently.
So, Patrice, in this day and age of technology, of sophisticated technology, why are we still having these problems?
No, the point is the responsibility, as Mawina mentioned, that who is at the helm of affairs, who is supposed to be held responsible for all these things?
They know them. Why are they still there?
So, anyways.
Why are they still there? What KPIs was he given to execute? Why is he still at post? There was a prime minister who took what? Some money and resigned?
Yes.
Yes. That's a society that is regularly organized.
Yes, we are not. I mean, we are not. When I read and rant about it, I mean, it is misread. But my point is,
we will just manage the situation like we always do, like the way we've been managing the PBC crisis.
Yes, if we were alive, we would have been doing things much better.
We've been managing the PBC crisis for a very long time.
Very, very long time.
After the erstwhile Akufo-Addo government, ran it down brutally and faithfully, raped the institution and left it hanging in there at the altar of sycophancy.
So my point is that we are not able to punish it, and when you decide to punish them, then people start raising the political voices. The reason I always say that, look, when you are determined to take on somebody who has run down an institution or a company or a people because you have been put in a position of trust, don't look left or right. Do what is right. So you send that signal to the person who is occupying the position now. So now more than ever, it is incumbent on those who are in positions today to know that if they don't discharge their duties diligently, tomorrow they have a question to answer. But who can do that and do that in a very potent way that will send a signal across to everybody?
Did the statement Boss Energy release give us next completion dates?
I'm pretty sure the tanker drivers would know, but for that they wouldn't have laid down.
It's why I can't understand why Bawa Enus has not answered our calls again. I think it was he joined us on the phone line and then the line dropped.
And will Boss publish the technical findings as well?
It is just possible. I think with the RTI we can get it.
Do we have to?
Oh, I mean,
talking of the RTI is one of the most questionable. Of course, because they use our taxes to pay the penalties. When you send an RTI to an institution and they don't respond and they falter, right?
Yes.
The institution uses taxpayers' money to pay the fine.
How would you rather have that be done?
Oh, so they should.
I agree with you. I mean, that's the truth. That's what plays out. I'm saying that. How would you rather?
If you don't comply, you lose your office, the leadership, the board. You see, we should stop sugarcoating some of these things.
That's why I asked.
That's why I said it's a reboot, not a reset.
No, but
because what's the difference?
But
you
because
reboot and you reset, what's the difference?
Reboot it comes back to the same settings. You reboot is just.
When you reset the operating system, you can change everything.
Got it.
So yeah.
So what has changed, Mawina?
So
they publish RTI. They publish a long list. They themselves send them RTI and let's see if they themselves will even respond. The commission itself
of institutions that
they are doing very well. I must say they are doing very well. They update the public as frequently as possible. They're always on time with their reportage and things like that. But the hilarious part of the whole thing is when they do not comply, they still use taxpayers' money to pay the penalty. And after paying the penalty, do they comply?
They don't. So it leaves us.
It's a white elephant.
There's a story I want us to follow up on, right?
Okay.
Even though we're trying to work the lines. I mentioned our friends from PIAC will join us a lot later this morning.
Yeah.
But there was the Ghanaian Times story as to.
That's right. Chemicals being used to
Absolutely
hasten the ripening of plantain.
And a very good morning to FDA, Food and Drugs Authority. Who are supposed to be policing a lot of these things and then, doing a lot of the underground work. I want us to get the details of the story first.
Right, okay.
And then we can, because we've been trying this morning to get responses of some sort from the FDA who say that they will issue a statement and so they cannot speak to the matter just as yet.
It would interest you to know that this thing has been going on for a very long time. So it starts with fruit. So bananas. Yes, it starts with bananas. Okro. Okro is one of them.
We will by all means question
palm oil.
The FDA
is another.
Yes, they use is it bent? They use some.
They use what they use for sweetie. They put it in.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
They
put
chemical.
it in, and
Look,
then okro that we eat. Yes, okro. So a lot of foods on the market are not wholesome. So this woman goes to the okro seller at the Shaman market and wants to buy okro. Now, in the process of buying, the woman receives a call. The seller. Then the person put on speaker. Then the person didn't know that woman understands the Dangbe language, and she was like, "You, did you take the okro to the market? You kept some at home?" He said, "No, I kept some at home." He said, "No, don't consume the okro that I brought you because we chemically induced it. So sell those ones to the market people, and then don't keep any other. If you want to buy, go and buy." Then she mentioned somebody's name to go and buy that one and then use. Now, yeah, sometimes. So a woman who sells fruit in my neighborhood, she will tell you that when she's going to buy fruit and she calls the vendor that I want pear or bananas, or the woman would ask, do you want the one that is chemically ripened or do you want the one that is organically ripened? That is what is happening on the market. So everything that we are eating on the market has a lot of implications when it comes to health. Chemicals are being used for every product you see on the market. Unless you know the person, and the person will tell you point blank that, oh, this one is organic. So she knows where she goes to get her fruits. So that is why I trust buying fruits from her. So if you don't know, can you imagine okra? I wouldn't have known that this is what happens. So, look, what is happening to mystery shopping? What is happening to mystery shopping? All you need to do, there are market days. Just go in there. Just go in there and try to buy. When you buy, go and test. When you test, punish the person. Publish the person's name and picture. You see, we may think that, we may embarrass the person, or it's okay, let's just solve it in a... But do you know the number of people you are killing? So people go to the hospitals with different types of diseases. Yes.
We'll get into this conversation, but Mr. Bauer is rejoining us so that we can round up on the tanker. Okay, I get an indication it's not Bauer, but the chairman of the Tanker Drivers Union in the Ashanti region.
Oh, okay.
He speaks a local dialect, but we'll engage him and then subsequently we'll do a bit of translation on that front so that we can close the chapter on the tanker drivers this morning.
We'll come to the most corrupt people in the system.
We'll get into food safety related content because it's a subject matter that we've been on for a while.
Yeah.
And FDA is just
and for the women to go on and then they spray
room for improvement.
They are spraying the food and then they are asking because now yesterday I was telling a colleague that there's a healthy pandemic on because a number of us in the office are either jogging or they are cycling, trying to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Right.
They
are trying to stay healthy. So if they are doing all of that and then they are going to buy chemically induced fruits, then that becomes a problem.
Some of us are not surprised. Anyway, let's go to
Kwejo Brenya is a chairman of the Tanker Drivers Union in the Ashanti region. Is joining us this morning. Mr. Brenya, Memawachi, Bibia Bokodi. Na enra no mo ka say mo ye strike bi ne asefo nanso yete say ye chere demonstration but ye nyan ntie say ye mpenifo eto nsa frame wana mo ni mo didi nkomo bi ama strike no sisi ano matwe asan ye no kresa
pa join ko say ye consider strike na me nsa na dey some media money na mabo man Ghana flatina ye ha ye ho boost na mo so bi amaye no ke penifo no so agya tumu ama ya sensa lete no na sa chairman eko office ama yina video call by ma me so ye nyina ntia se ya djuma ama ye nsa se kata ase ama lete no ye ko ama se media mamo media for se mu na mo ye se bi ye refri mo boy it is a letter no mu se mo no yami adom na se to super gusu no mudi tuma ya e be mo mate se bibia su be mu a mo se be sa mate na ja mo letter bi da wo se media no bia enya bia na achi bi no so me ne so na kodata na so ba side ye promo wo inside ho mita na yi lodu ma so tegi ka no ya loko ka no e wo pidi bibie e wo kumase e so tegi ba mu wie pe na de ama ye se eni ntia sa ka no bia wata kai wodi seal aboker no seal no ebedu kumasi a na de beauty phone na bie da ba ndo de load na eba obedu wi ase nya 500 600 ka kai na akira tum e se bebebe ye lodu asante region buna for western of nyina wo kumasi de pupa akopɛ ye see ye no ratio ma meters no first it load 100 na beto load 200 what the west ragwan ya ko won ye ne kama eso ye mie bitari edi charging loading eno ese bebebe sotegi na wo bitare ho ama na se mutie kwa se boss nipa no ye sa contact na djuma no Ghana ne yina di etie de yesu yemu ni se engineer se wo boss engineer ne se technician wo boss technician wo MP ya isa se base 30 opani ya du fitana na police boss de kire e di animu e load no ba be ya na sa short ni na na sa short de da ba fu de da kwatia ye ni e kara fu chi etum abekwa mita nye ne kofa baaye nipa de baaye yina di enti na ke su yemu se ka ban no ko se ne bo wan kuma se nkwa se ka no mo de ye timi de proof no na mo nim dollars mu ye $24 million na mo de ye kuma se adwuma no ye se o mo ye no we na mo de ye na se ka se timi de proof na ewie ya fe na trouble sa wo ho enti ka broni na mo koto ade ne fi no ho no o mo kofa broni ni mra no mo hwe installage no ye se ye ananye ye ko mita ono timchoba otimto toti mita no timto 1000 and what much of the 1000 e much of the dia ene kama but e come over there and enye rare over no sense ma wo jopani ye wala to issue a pani for say e be sin ko Ghanaian trust ni aso amaka say tibia ne be sa wo matina ma tina on there sit down stacking there ya say akra
Right. Me cheche buka krama it's here for Brofumu. So essentially what Mr. Brenya is telling us that look, the metering problem is that when they go and pick the fuel from the depots, sometimes because of the challenge in terms of the reading, it falls below, so maybe you're getting 2,000 liters. The challenge in the reading of the meters could give you 1,800. And when you go and you are delivering, the 200 shortage, you, the driver, will have to pay for it. In some instances, some of the drivers have been arrested, even in relation to that, and all of that. And so there's a mention of some amount of monies, which in terms of revenue could have gone up to $24 million in excess, which could have gone into helping to fix and get them a new depot, amongst other things. And so that is the basis for which they decided to embark on the strike. And so that is where they are. There's been an agreement and they are going to proceed on that agreement. But should they renege on the promise in having this fixed, then they will go back on the sit down. Mr. Brenya, now meters no then say na omode ba na sa na etie ana ebe say na say ya.
Opini ya munu gan hu asensem so you start to hear adwuma na omode back to see no there be issues, there be engineers ba ho, technicians ba ho, ita biye ho dwuma eti bo se ho no ma o edo pe ho no ma bo se ti afa ta bo so choba ho no ma se ate aye etwa so tegi eso ni nyina achi no tempen fo behwe na ye wo MP na regulator no what take car no ehu me bia car no fa ye ndi ka so tegi ba no kono ahwe sa adwuma na ma ye se o eba no se ko fa load no o sa o ti bi kura na sa o ti no pani ya me no ka se nyina engine ndi ba ni wa bia ba ni wa no ye load car no PD e tema ho bia na o ma logo car no o mo de ka se lock ya o mo de phone code atoso code no be du kuma sia na machine wo enso wo kuma sia na adie code no ha me yatima yi ade charge fuel no ye charge wi a se de wo kan 200 so you 54,000 liters now you 3,500 na aka no ye se wo na wetua wo so take car no de car na ba police motor kwati be de akire the same shortage and that be ye so na betua na be ko du ya ni ati afrika ro sikam na car so ahodu ye etu ba hu no pani mi ti mota fata bia din obi ti mi twetwe 200 300 400 saa to adon na bon se da ba ni o de ka ba se ti ska 1 billion e se o de ka da ho e tu de ka da no se bia na o ya adwuma ti da ba ni be yi load boss obi yi okuma se awie na o tu ka na kotema no o de abufuo ya odie adwendwen e be na kwasia emba so ho
Matias na mo car park situation no e wo ho afi be say ni baby amunya mpa car park
open car park we see me no ka na so dem gira 2011 na boss eto sa car park be me gira na sa car park e so pa omuya cars yene loading yene decide yene be ko park so na o ma jai na da 2011 be see next no pani se say the boss for that ba e be park gate kra na park no ano ke mu ye se bio da hokwa na park nso nye level park se wo ta ka park so ko people asane ma car ti tema elodu for the boss abe park wa no ati free na fo nyina hwagu last time bi hwagu ya bi ma bi mu eye na diesel ke petrol ko opani kent ya sempa empty cars so ati free be edu so want to who park na bon say sebe depo su ko depo bia wotema se kakra bia no maye o me ya no so ye level so da kama so ya bibi kama enam sa do afo mu ye ntino now o mo office ya wo boss wo no wo mu sira bo sai o mo guest house o mo da ba contact o bi si ye safety measures na ye pa sa akwa ho e ma timaka e de boy ka mu ya me ko ka se be get to ka se yango boda ma ena ama na ye de tanka ne ba ne apai pai ka ho petrol ya ni kwa safety kanka ene ka number 1 so mo jai park no na o mo si o mo office that means o mo nwene adawa for ni safety
right me da se bebre se unya amre ene yen kasa Mr. Brenya intino omo share mo bo ekosi emre ben se omo be hwe na omo sisi nsemi amamo omo so mo
next month ye pass a check next month later me no kasa bia me be send mo na mo so mo de bia to amaye
me da se
da chi bia ye sa e pa mo se asem na mo ne ka ye no later bi o sa ta bi o mo hoda wonim ye ewum
right
but any bia ma wura na also have the city
me da se bebre that's Kojo Brenya. He is a chairman of the Tanker Drivers Union in the Ashanti region. So it says 15 years, right? 15 years is how long this parking lot situation has been, but says that where they are currently was procured for them in 2011 and it's been the case for the last 15 years. And the boss is putting up new offices and a new guest house which has been handed out to contractors and all of that, but their safety needs are not being taken care of, and it's one of the primary concerns for them in deciding to engage on this. So I think that brings, they've been given a month in terms of assurance to deal with this, after which they will provide us with a bit more in terms of details. And so that's Kojo Brenya, is chair of the Tanker Driver. Let's go for this break.
Right.
When we return, then we'll switch lanes and do the FDA conversation, because we have the video. There's a statement from the Food and Drugs Authority as well, and then possibly we can engage them quickly on this.
I think they said that they too, their release will suffice. I think we've also attempted to.
No, I think Fred was telling me that
now
the
they're
PRO
speaking. Oh, fantastic!
I
I thought they also wanted us to rely on the statement, but if they are willing to speak, that would be excellent.
Yeah. So let's go for this break. Then we'll return and get into that matter quickly. Right. This is the 3FM Sunrise. Please stay with us.
3 regions, from Accra through Kwao to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery, hundreds of riders expected, one national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927, single 200 Ghana cedis, group of 10, 1,600 Ghana cedis, group of 5, 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice, Fratelli Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Kwao to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery, hundreds of riders expected, one national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927, single 200 Ghana cedis, group of 10, 1,600 Ghana cedis, group of 5, 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice, Fratelli Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Kwao to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery, hundreds of riders expected, one national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927, single 200 Ghana cedis, group of 10, 1,600 Ghana cedis, group of 5, 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice, Fratelli Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Kwao to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery, hundreds of riders expected, one national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927, single 200 Ghana cedis, group of 10, 1,600 Ghana cedis, group of 5, 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice, Fratelli Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Kwao to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery, hundreds of riders expected, one national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927, single 200 Ghana cedis, group of 10, 1,600 Ghana cedis, group of 5, 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice, Fratelli Calipo.
Ana sikojo ye chakopa da nanom ye kowie afa ya mani so 8 doctor sa kwadu na wodi no poison ewo kwadu no ya pete so fancy that so. Me busan for say no. Why na crab on mine no? Adrono. Why na crab adrono on mine no? Yadi kukoso, yadi kunyaso, and bebre. Enti, ye market for no. Yadi would you fire back? Because any other poison dada. Say no for money. Yeah, you don't be a Ghana. Yes, Samo. Baby, I'm a Naya, send humanity minimum. Yahima money. I'm pepe. Yes, Samo. Nakiti Ariana, and Samuel will and Amanaba. Yes, Samo. Ahubrasiamo, Yapamuchau, Mumu Yamaba, and Mama Gagatiniba, Otomesu, and Timadona. Pamuchau.
That's the viral video, which has got pretty much a lot of people talking in relation to food safety concerns. And the Food and Drugs Authority has been issuing a statement in that regard. Says that the attention of the FDA has been drawn to a video circulating on social media about the alleged use of chemical substance to accelerate the ripening of plantain. The Medina market, it's not just the Medina market, right? If you're hearing the woman, she's speaking to a widespread use of this chemical, and not just plantain. If you listen to the video, FDA, if you listen to the video, the woman says yedugu mekoso, yedugu nadwaso. So stop, don't tell us it is plantain, please.
No, I don't want, holding the plantain,
I don't want to get into I don't want to get into any elements this morning, but the basis of the statement is even wrong. The woman says they are using it on everything, and you are telling us plantain. Maza. Let's proceed. As part of our mandates to protect public health and safety, the FDA, in collaboration with the Environmental Health Unit of the Nkwantana, that's a problem. We are not talking, the people, if you listen to the video, the woman is raising concern as to where the chemical is coming from even, and the fact that we don't want the chemical again because it is being used everywhere. So it's not a Nkwantana problem. So stop narrowing it. So like the entire premise that everything is just misplaced. Yes, you saw the video is at Medina. Yes. But the woman is telling us that they are using it at different places.
But what they know is what the woman has stated. So if for nothing at all, they would go to the Medina and Quantana place to go and deal with that matter, then they can spread it wide. Because they are writing to what
with all deference and all reverence and all respect to you, I disagree with you.
Yes, you have the right to disagree.
You know why?
The video came from the Quantana market, Medina market, right? So that is why they are saying that we are going to investigate what the woman has said. Then, if possible, it can be replicated to all other markets.
Rhoda Irabana Apia is head of communication and public education at the Food and Drugs Authority. She's joined us via the phone lines. Good morning to you, Rhoda. I trust that all is well.
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
And thank you very much. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us here as well on the 3FM Sunrise. This video, which is circulating, I suspect the FDA has seen it because there's a statement in that regard as well. In terms of the preliminary work you've done, how widespread of a challenge is this outside of Medina? Because I believe the FDA knows this goes way outside just Medina and the Lankwantana municipality.
All right. Thank you very much, Doc, for the opportunity and the question. First of all, we want to say that the use of chemicals for the production of agro products is really not regulated by the Food and Drugs Authority. Rather, we have institutions like the PPRSD which belongs to the Ministry of Agriculture, as well as the Environmental Protection Authority, EPA. Now, when it comes to issues surrounding food safety, that then becomes an area of interest to the authority, even as it works closely with these institutions. In the past, a couple of years ago, we came across some of these posts that were circulating on social media. We issued a release to that effect. It was as if it was more than just what we knew about. So a lot of studies went into it.
Right.
But in recent times, we have not heard of anything till this viral video came up. And immediately we saw it, we moved to the location, which was in Medina, and engaged with the market women, especially the lady that was featured in the video. And after that, our own discussions with the environmental health unit of the Tanzania Municipal Authority or Assembly is what has culminated into this release, giving preliminary findings to the public, as well as further actions that the authority seeks to take, especially with respect to cautioning consumers and even traders on how they can be able to handle food produce.
Right, so the caution has gone, and I heard you mention that, look, for a while, we've not heard anything of such nature until this video surfaced. Is that to suggest that until a video of such a nature or a public health alert video of such a nature comes out, we do not have teams on the ground surveying and monitoring to pick up on persons who potentially may be inducing foods to ripen with chemicals which are hazardous?
Okay, so that's why I indicated that is not preliminary our forte when it comes to the use of chemicals to ripen or to grow food produce. But we have a way of collaborating with institutions. But having to do with markets and public education, that is a routine activity that FDA is always embarking upon. We actually segregate our public education in a manner that can really make impact. So when we get to the market, there are times that we are dealing with maybe the salt producers. There are times where there are issues that we've come across, and we are dealing with the palm oil producers when it came to the issues of Sudan 4 dye and others. So as for public education, it's what we do. We have an outfit within FDA that conducts public education. Surveillance is also part of what we do. And once in a while, when these issues get into the social media space, that's where it really heightens information or circulation around the matter. But FDA itself has had countless times where we've had to accustom traders that may be found doing things that are untoward, unhygienic practices and all that we deal with. But I just want to indicate or stress that we do not do this alone. When we go to the market, we are dealing with the environmental health officers who are on the ground. Remember, they take the toll at the marketplaces, and they have an office within the market space. So it's a matter of collaboration with them. But we are very much concerned with food hygiene issues, and that's why we went straight to the marketplace to conduct the initial research. But it is not going to end now. We have sent teams across the country to conduct their own surveillance activities across, just to ascertain the level of coverage when it comes to food ripening and all.
Right. So there's a team out which is seeking to ascertain what is happening. And I heard you mention that, look, you don't do this alone, and the mandate is to ensure that the standards in terms of food, drugs, biological products, that's pretty much what the FDA's mandate is.
So when it comes to chemicals, we are mandated to only regulate household chemicals, not agrochemicals and all the other chemicals we have. When it comes to the use of these chemicals, we are referring to EPA. That is their mandate. and PPRSD, the Plant Regulatory Authority Department at the Ministry of Agriculture.
Right, but when it comes into the threshold of these chemicals, right, which falls outside your mandate, then being used to induce ripening, which obviously pose health concerns, then it becomes a concern of the FDA in terms of the safety of the food which will end up at homes and in stomachs and what have you.
May I just situate our concern very well? So the eczema that was spotted, it's actually a plant growth regulator, and in certain spaces it is also used for ripening. But there are labeling instructions on how it's supposed to be used. In fact, for that particular chemical, there is harmful hazard warning on it all over. And for us, we are concerned about the residue when it is even used for ripening. Because normally you are supposed to allow the produce to lie for a while for the residue to be off. And it even applies to when they are used on the market, on the farms. We are not supposed to, farmers are not supposed to harvest the crop maybe 2 or 3 days after they have sprayed the produce with any form of chemical. But that sometimes happens, and we are not regulating the farmers. That is for another institution, and the importation of these chemicals are also of concern. So for us, the fellow that we found in Medina is actually assisting with further investigations with the EPA and other institutions for us to spot who is really bringing them in and how it lands in the hands of market women. Because I presume that if you are an importer of chemicals, you are in the repository or the registry of these institutions, and you have been properly vetted or approved to be able to import these products. So just how it gets into the traders, the hands of the traders, is a matter of concern, and that is where we come in to collaborate with them. But it goes beyond just FDA when it comes to the importation and misuse, especially of these chemicals.
Absolutely. What I get from our conversation this morning is that, look, it's a multi-layered, multi-institutional effort in dealing with the wholesomeness of food on the market, because these substances could be used at the farm when it's not directly the market woman who is doing it, and it will end up at the market, and then that will be food that will be consumed, right? So it will lead me to ask what the level of collaboration is, because at the end, the goal is one: ensure that the safety of the Ghanaian is protected in terms of the food that is readily on the market. So how well are we on that collaboration? Because some will argue that we shouldn't be seeing market women, because they were educating and advising persons to look out for some of these food substances because it is chemicalized and they should avoid it, which is what has birthed all of this, and we're having this conversation. Many will ask a question, where are the institutions which are supposed to be doing this work so it's not our market women who are filming themselves and explaining how ripened food with chemicals will look like, and ripened food that ripens naturally as well will look like, so that they are not the ones doing it, and the prevention bit is happening.
Yeah, so I will quickly give a response to your concerns about the level of collaboration. So FDA has instituted a mechanism or a system which we call the 4-step system. The 4-step is actually an acronym: Food Emergency Response Plan. It's an interagency platform that has been created with Food and Drugs Authority only as a command center, as it says. So, for instance, if we wake up one morning and some whales have been washed ashore, and there's a threat of people going to cut them up and maybe smoking them as smoked fish for the market. It's a critical matter of concern. But per the system, the framework we've put together, veterinary services is supposed to lead the process, because what is happening to the marine life to get perhaps maybe a whale being washed ashore, it's a matter of further investigations to be done by the veterinary services or whoever is in charge of marine life and also fisheries and others. So that is the manner in which the interagency platform has been set. And that's how, as a command center, we quickly kick-started the process when we spotted this indiscriminate use of chemicals, to get all other institutions to get on the beat and really get us some information. So we only happen to be, we serve as a command center. And it doesn't just end there. It is not just the institution, even the informal sector, the market women, the market queens. You realize in the video that as they were having that conversation, FDA's name popped up so easily for them, because that's the level of engagement we have with them. On a day-to-day, we are meeting them about palm oil, or we are meeting them about some salted fish, or many other areas of our work which require engagement with them. So it cuts across, both at the formal interagency levels and even beyond that to consumer associations as well. So that's how we have gone about this. And institutions that are within this frame are actually on board. The assemblies and others are working with us very closely.
Does the FDA have a challenge in terms of surveillance, being able to be out there everywhere at every time to pick up intelligence as quickly as possible? Because you're telling us you are the command center. Is there a challenge really in that regard? Because we need this done like every day of the week, checking to ensure that the food which is on the market, the food which is on the shelf is wholesome.
Yeah. Okay, I would say that we already have a system in place. We have a presence in the region. We have, however, been constrained when it comes to our presence in the district and the communities. So the Act 851, the Public Health Act, is very clear in Part 7 of the Act that we should collaborate with the district assembly. Thankfully, government has given us some support for us to open up some district offices now. And we are in the process of manning the places with the required personnel to get further to the district. But it will go beyond just the district to the communities where we all live and where issues come up. And that's why we always say that food safety is a matter of concern for everyone. And so we do not at any point in time discourage the involvement of the consumers or people in the communities. We have always made our contact lines available, indicating that they should be able to report of any unhygienic practices or things that compromise on public health. In fact, we pick up intelligence through some of these reports. We have in place a system that rewards people who blow the whistle. Maybe something is happening in a warehouse or something. That is how we come in. We collaborate very well with the law enforcement agencies as well. As a matter of fact, some CID officers are even seconded to the Food and Drugs Authority. We work with them. And the thing about FDA's operations is that we don't go out there fully clad in our uniforms. On a day-to-day basis, we conduct market surveillance. There are teams that go to the various markets to pick samples of products for testing, because we know that we cannot rely on just samples that are brought in the process of registration. So facility license inspections take place we have spot visits, and then on a routine basis, we have staff that go out to conduct surveillance, in addition to doing intelligence work to support our cause.
Right then, Rhoda, I appreciate you and the insights you've brought in, but obviously we would love to engage a bit more because food safety is a matter of important concern to all of us, and we would like to, from time to time, be able to connect with the FDA as well on these subject matters. But I appreciate you making time to speak to us as well this morning.
Thank you too. I wish you a blessing.
Absolutely. That's Rhoda Irabna Pia. She is Head of Communications and Public Education at the Food and Drugs Authority, joining us this morning. Guys, quick thoughts in relation to this subject matter. Says that, look, the education is ongoing, but it's a multi-institutional effort that goes into dealing with this, because the chemical is not something that falls under the purview of the FDA. It will be under either EPA or some other institution, because some of them go into farms which are supposed to be used and all of that. So those regulatory agencies as well will have to be up and doing. But the question as to how well they are on the ground to make sure that, look, they are picking up intelligence as quickly as possible. She says they are working with MMDs, as a Metropolitan Municipal and District assemblies, right? Assemblies, I was going to say authorities. Assemblies, amongst other things, to work around this to ensure that they are picking up intelligence as quickly as possible. Just quick thoughts, because on the back of some of what we saw, it poses quite the concern for all of us.
That's right. The story is captured on page 12 of the Ghanaian Times, and it ends this way, that the FDA said it will continue its food safety education and market surveillance activities to promote the safe handling and marketing of fruits and vegetables. It also urged the public to report suspected unsafe food handling, processing, storage, and the inappropriate use of chemicals to the authority for prompt investigation. So this is where see something, say something also comes into play. If you see something, please sound the alarm so that we can stop ingesting some of these very questionable foods. And I think that's also very important, because we are seeing some of these things, we're hearing some of these things. Sound the alarm, name and shame. It's not worth the health of your children, your loved ones, even yourself. It's just not worth it. We're eating some very questionable things. I've got a young baby who will soon be eating solids. I'm terrified about where to actually source these foodstuffs from, because right from the farm, the chemicals are being added to the food products. I mean, come on.
Coupled with already the challenge with galamsey, and then they are adding more chemicals.
As if we don't have enough problems to contend with mercury, cyanide, destroyed water bodies, the quality of the food not being good on home soil and abroad. Now we want to add all kinds of chemicals. We used to eat good food, good crops, organic.
Oh yes.
We used to have different standards as a people. Ghanaians, fellow Ghanaians, we are changing. Oh,
we have already changed.
What's up?
We have already changed.
We used to be a different people, looking out for each other, ensuring the well-being of each other. What's up?
We don't punish, we don't name and shame. So this thing starts from the growing of the crop. So when you tell the Ghanaian farmer that, you want to add fertilizer to your product, okay, add just a cup of the fertilizer into 20 liters of water, and then you can spray the product, and then it fertilizes it, so at least it grows and gives you much better yield. What they end up doing is that they will add 5 cups, because your 1 cup is going to give it, like if it's a mango tree, it's going to give it 450 pieces of mango. They will add like 4 cups because they want 1,200 pieces of mango. So that is what they usually do. So they overspray the crops. I had a direct personal experience when spraying was done on my mango, and the guy just went overboard. Now the mangoes that came, some got ripened, yes, but others were just darkened. So majority, you see the mango tree blossom with a lot of fruits, but you realize that a lot of them were bad. You have to just cut them off and then dump them somewhere. So the monitoring on the farms is one of the key things. So all these things can be curtailed if we had a way of picking the produce from the farm and then storing it at a place where it could be monitored properly by an institution that is regulated by a state arm or state agency. But we leave everything to the decision of the farmer. And the farmer wants yields. The woman who has come in between needs money instantly. So on the way from the farm to wherever he or she is going to deposit it, they transact that business with the items. So like I said earlier, when you call that you want garden eggs, you want okra, you want tomatoes, you want pepper delivered here, most of the time some of the foods don't get these contaminated chemicals added to them, because if they are not ripe, they are not taken off the tree. You cannot, because with pepper it needs to grow, get to that stage before it gets ripe. Otherwise it's very small. But items that get to a huge stage or a big stage before ripening takes place, those are the items that are dealt with. Because you can't pluck, plantain that is not fully mature, and then you want to spray it for it to mature. No. It is only at the time that it is mature, that when they cut it, then they try to expedite the ripening thing. So for me, we need a much more, what people say, holistic way of dealing with such matters. But name and shame, arrest, and then put the person's pictures all around the market for people to see. That is what it is.
Right then, that's Patrice Amegashi, as well as my colleague Helena Piampofu in studio. K. Kujo lurking around the studio somewhere.